Hi, my name is John Cordy and welcome to 45 Watt World. This is the Mesa Boogie story, the John Cordy sort of snippet of that. So Keith asked me if I'd share my kind of story or journey with Mesa Boogie and how I came to end up with a few of them. So basically when I was about 16, I think I'd passed my driving test. I went to Manson's, which is the local guitar shop. Probably you might have heard of Matt Bellamy from Muse. He uses guitars made by Manson's. And I go in there, and I'm a big fan of John Petrucci at the time. I'm playing a 7-string guitar. I'm into prog rock and prog metal, that sort of stuff, as well as like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, obviously. And this shows up, and this is the first kind of Mesa Boogie that I've really seen in the flesh. And it was used for £750, and I thought, well, I can just about afford that. So this was my first amp, proper amp, that wasn't like a Marshall valve state thing or a crate solid state thing. So this is my first tube amp, and I've still got it to date, and I still think it sounds really, really good. The thing that's kept me interested in Mesa Boogie as I've kind of moved away from that more metal focused stuff to being predominantly a single coil player is that they get really kind of thick, juicy tones with single coils, and that's kind of true across the board with the Mesa Boogie stuff. Although there's plenty of gain, and certainly that's kind of how I first got into the Mesa Boogie thing, I think there's been like a bit of a misconception that they're kind of metal machines, where actually I think you'll find that there's this whole range of stuff which is a little bit underexplored. And that's kind of taken me through this journey of becoming a little bit of a Mesa Boogie collector. So I've got an Electrodyne, which is one of their kind of rarer, cleaner amps. A Blue Angel, which is definitely sticks out as being kind of the odd one out in the Mesa Boogie range. It says dual rectifier on it, but it's basically a clean amp, I think about 30 watts. Very different to anything else they've done. Got a California Tweed, which is one of their more later creations, which is kind of a take on the Fender thing with switchable power scaling down to 2 watts, so that's appropriate for Keith. And I've got a Mesa Boogie Mark III, and that's kind of the most traditional Mesa Boogie amp that I've got, I guess. I think that comes just a few years after the Mark II C+, which I guess is the most famous of the Mark amps. But yeah, I just really like the tones you can get out of these things. I like the aesthetic, and just seem to be like classy looking amps, and you kind of get a lot for your money generally they're channel switching amps, and I think you pay the sort of similar prices to what you might pay from other boutique builders. You probably paid this kind of money for a single channel amp, and so I kind of like the idea that you're getting quite a bit for your money when you buy a Mesa Boogie. Anyway, that's how I ended up with a bunch. That's what I like about the amps. Great cleans, you know, really clean cleans, and also the ability to have these thick juicy tones which translate really well with a single coil. Get out of here. Thick juicy tones that translate really well with a single coil, and that's kind of what I look for in an amp. You don't necessarily need pedals with a Mesa Boogie. That's definitely one of the things that I noticed early on before I got into pedals. So yeah, in terms of economics and, you know, minimalist rigs, a channel switching Mesa Boogie probably get you a lot of music for not much gear. Ow.